The ethereal element, ether, it means space. So when the living entity is given his body in the material world, he gets a body according to his karma. It may be big body or small body. And then, in addition to that, that's a gross body. Then he gets a subtle body too, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And of the material elements, the ether is the most subtle. And because it's so subtle, it carries sound and extends throughout space. So if we were going to take a journey in space and we wanted to interact with the different elements there, we would be floating in space, which also maintains sound portion. So sound can go long distances, and the only way you can tell that space is there, you can't see it. You can't see space. You can't touch space. You can't taste space. But you can hear space. You can hear transcendental sound vibrations in space. And this is how the Lord endows all the living entities with their own miniature universe. Because this material world, or this material universe, it's a prototype in a sense. There are millions and millions of them, and each one is being controlled by a Brahma. But above that, Brahma is not, as we hear, he's not able to create the universe itself, but he can take the elements of the universe, which are supplied by the Mahavishnu, takes those material elements, and then he fashions them into a universe, a material universe that one can travel in or see in, taste in, feel so many different interactions with the sounds and the material elements. So there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, higher than the mind, higher than the material elements are the senses, and higher than the senses, mind, and higher than the mind is the intelligence, and higher than the intelligence is the soul. And we'll read the Sanskrit. Sorry. Let's read this, text 42.
Which text are we on today?
No, not 42. Okay, so text 42, and Sanskrit we can chant together. Indriyani paranyahur, indrebhya param manaha, manasastu para buddhir, yo buddhe paratastu saha. So indriyani refers to the senses. Parani means superior, ahu, said indrebhya, more than the senses. Param, superior. Mana, the mind. Manasa, more than the mind. To also. Para, superior. Buddhi, intelligence. Yaha, one which. Buddhe, more than the intelligence. Parata, superior to but sahi. Translation: the working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. This gives a very nice depiction of how there's differences amongst the elements. There's varieties. The varieties are there even in space. Space, in the floating in the space, though, we have apparently time and water and so many things. But actually, space is so subtle that it's not pervaded by those things. They're grosser. It's only pervaded by something more subtle than itself. Like mind is more subtle than the space. And that's why you have so many people, so many living entities with minds. And they're using their minds right now. And we're being impacted by their minds. But we don't see it, we don't feel it. Because it's too subtle. But someone who has more intelligence, he can even understand the mind. For example, he may use his intelligence to create radio stations. And radio stations, he's picking up the frequency, all different frequencies. And on there he hears sounds. And those sounds are also permeated with intelligence and mental activities and gross elements. So this is a little idea about how intelligent and how great is God. He's doing all these things effortlessly. There's a nice verse. It says how it seems as though going on automatically, but he's controlling all these elements. He has so many energies. Verse. Parasha Shaktir, Vividhaiva Shrite, Svabhaki Gyanabalu Kriyacha. Thank you. And so he has so many energies, and they're working so amazingly that even the scientists can't even perceive. In fact, one of the best scientists, Einstein, he said that the more I study the universe, the more I realize there must be a great brain behind everything, or a great brain behind the universe. So that's his intelligence. He could see, he could perceive that as you got more and more subtle, as you begin to go deeper into the material substance, Mahatattva and the different tattvas, then he said there must be a very great brain behind it all. That's an intelligent scientist. Unfortunately, some of the scientists, they come to just the opposite conclusion. When they perceive that there's something more out there, then they perceive that it couldn't possibly be a human or a person because I'm a person and I can't perceive more. And this way they get befooled. But the intelligent, even if he can't understand directly, he's only indirectly. He's only indirectly able to perceive the brain behind it, like Einstein. But someone who's more intelligent, like Narad Muni, he went to the real scientist. He went to Brahma and asked Brahma to explain to him how everything's going on in this universe. And Brahma explained to him how that Lord Vishnu creates these different elements, and they expand, and there's sense objects, senses to perceive the senses, sense objects. Really quite wonderful. And one would think that real scientists would like to have this information at their fingertips. But unfortunately, they don't. And they'd rather just speculate, which will never get us perfect knowledge. Thank you.